Okay, what's up YouTube? My name is Galen and this is Galen's Gadgets. I want to thank you so much for joining my channel today. And if you have not already, please do not forget to like and subscribe if you want to keep seeing videos on tech just like this one. So today I have a very special video because I'll be comparing two of the best Wear OS watches out right now. So to the left, I have my boy's latest smartwatch, the Ticwatch Pro 3 Ultra, and to the right, I have Fossil's latest, very beautiful smartwatch, the Fossil Gen 6. I also do have the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic, but I will not be adding it to this video because I want to do a video comparing all three. But today I will be comparing these two because they were very similar in price when they first came out. Now you can get the Fossil Gen 6 for significantly cheaper because it seems to be always on sale on Amazon. I will leave a link for everything in the description. The Ticwatch Pro 3 Ultra, my boy did send me this for review. This retails for around $300. And to the right, the Fossil Gen 6, this usually retails for around $300, but right now I just checked and it's on sale for $229. So yeah, I'm not gonna hold you any longer. I got a lot to talk about, so let's just hop into this comparison now.
I'm about to be on. Been on this mission since I first left home. Packed up my bags like I'm grown. Told myself to show myself to do no wrongs. Like I'm about to be on. Been on this mission since I first left home. Packed up my bags like I'm grown.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about on these two watches is the design and the build quality. So I purposely put on these custom watch bands on these. Both of these do take 22 millimeter watch bands, so you'll easily be able to switch them out as long as they're 22 millimeters. You can find that easily on Amazon or eBay or wherever you want to find the bands. But I put a more sporty silicone watch band on the Ticwatch Pro 3 Ultra because this has like a more sporty design. It does look a lot better than the original Pro 3 GPS in person, just because you can see that perimeter is textured. It made a world of a difference, and just more stainless steel is used in this version compared to the previous Pro 3 GPS. On the other hand, the Fossil Gen 6, this is definitely a classic style smartwatch. You could see with that texture on the perimeter, this is completely made of stainless steel. The Pro 3 GPS has like a little plastic to like make it more comfortable on your wrist, because I definitely think that's more geared towards sporty, but this is definitely more geared toward dressy and just a more classic feel. I tend to prefer the more classic feel in smartwatch, but overall that's up to your preference. Okay, so in terms of build quality, the advantage definitely is going to go to the Ticwatch Pro 3 GPS, just because it actually has a military standard attached to it. You can find this information on their website, but this will definitely take a lot more of a beating than the just like the regular Gorilla Glass and just normal IP rating on the Fossil Gen 6. A major difference in design on these two watches is the button layout. So the Pro 3 Ultra has two buttons, as you can see. You could program, I believe, one of them, and then the Fossil Gen 6 actually has three buttons, and this middle button is actually really cool because you can use it as a dial as well. So I definitely prefer the three buttons on the Fossil Gen 6, and actually two of those are programmable as well, so you just get a lot more options in terms of buttons with the Fossil Gen 6. In terms of screen quality of the actual AMOLED screen on these, I definitely think the Fossil Gen 6 just gets a little brighter and the colors look a little better on the Fossil Gen 6. It just feels like a deeper black and everything, but the resolution is actually the exact same, so text is extremely crisp on both of these watches, but I definitely give the slight edge to the Fossil Gen 6 in my personal experience. But the my boy Ticwatch Pro 3 Ultra has a game-changing feature. I'm just waiting on these screens to time out so I could share that with you. The Fossil Gen 6 has a normal always on display, but one thing that makes the Ticwatch Pro 3 Ultra is that it just popped up right now. One thing that makes this Ticwatch Pro 3 Ultra special is this low power LCD screen that you see right now. This saves a ton of battery life. I'll go over battery life in a little bit, but just this low powered screen is super clutch. It shows just your basic information, so you don't always have to have a always on display on, which is gonna suck more battery. I just definitely prefer this low power screen. I wish more watches would do that. They literally took a second display and placed it on top of the AMOLED screen, so I just thought that was a really cool feature, and no other company is doing that. Huge shout out to Motvoy for that. You can see it lights up when you flip your wrist. Okay, so the performance on these watches are both very solid because they both have very late Snapdragon processors. So the slight advantage does go to the Fossil Gen 6. This has the Snapdragon 4100 Plus, while the Ticwatch Pro 3 Ultra has the regular Snapdragon 4100. The 4100 is definitely the first chip that made like Wear OS watches just like super fast. The 3100 and the 2100 just was not that good. That's something that Wear OS has struggled with for years, but with the debut of the Snapdragon 4100, it definitely helps a lot. So let me just pull up Google Assistant to show you how fast that can operate. Let me just press this button. Who is Cade Cunningham? And that's pretty much instant. Now let me do it on my Fossil. Who is Cade Cunningham? So I was not able to test the Google Assistant speed on the Fossil Gen 6 because it actually just died, so I had to plug it on the charger for a minute. Speaking of it dying, that's why we're gonna transition into the next topic, which is battery life. So battery life on the Fossil Gen 6 is bad. It really feels like when Wear OS first came out and people were not liking the watches because they wouldn't last long. That's what this feels like now. It feels exactly like the battery life on my Fossil Sport, which is like a few years old now. This lasts me a day tops. Some people get up to a day and a half, but with my usage, I've been reaching a day to a day and a few hours. On the other hand, these are night and day in terms of battery life. In terms of the Mobvoi Ticwatch Pro 3 Ultra, this will last me like up to 3 days, like 3 days, and sometimes even more, closer to 3.5. So battery life is way better on the Ticwatch Pro 3 Ultra. Where Fossil makes up for that bad battery life is in their fast charging. So they advertise at around 30 minutes you can get up to 80% with this watch, and that's been pretty true from my experience so far, and it usually takes like around 50 minutes to an hour to charge it fully. In terms of charging on the Mobvoi Ticwatch Pro 3 Ultra, it usually takes me around an hour and a half to 2 hours to charge. So the next thing that I'm going to cover in these two watches is the software. So there are a few major differences. It's mostly similar because it has like a stockish Wear OS look. There are a few main differences. The first thing is the app drawer. The app drawer in Mobvoi, they have their own custom app drawer in which you get two icons vertically. The Fossil Gen 6 has a more stock looking app drawer. Let me open that up, in which you get one line vertically and everything is basically like a half circle. So yeah, that's the major difference in the software. Everything else is pretty much similar, like the setting menus look exactly the same, things like that. And then another major difference is that you actually get a compatibility app for Mobvoi, in which you can like view all of your fitness data. This is made directly by Mobvoi, and you can adjust a few of the watch settings from here as well. You have to like create your own Mobvoi account and everything. Fossil does not have like an app like that. You only just use the Wear OS app to change all of that information, and you'll have to use Google Fit to do all of your activity tracking for your Fossil watch. So in terms of fitness trackers, both of these watches, the Mobvoi and the Fossil Gen 6. They have very similar fitness trackers. They have all of your basics and a little bit more. So they both have the gyroscope and then the blood oxygen level monitor, blood pressure tracking, stress tracking, sleep tracking, your step counting, your accelerometers. Both of them have onboard GPS. It's very similar. They both have very advanced heart rate tracking now that tracks your heart rate more frequently and more accurately as well. So in terms of fitness tracking, everything is basically about the same, and my readings on both of them have been very similar as well. Okay guys, so in everyday use these watches are going to be very similar except for in battery life pretty much. They have about the same amount of storage, around 8 gigabytes of storage space to download your apps. You get around 1 gig of RAM, so performance is really good. They both have Snapdragon 4100s. Again, the Snapdragon 4100 Plus is in the Fossil Gen 6, so it might be a little faster, but it's definitely not noticeable in my usage. They both have Google Pay. You can use NFC. Both of these have NFC on it. They both have GPS built in. The health tracking is extremely similar. The major thing, in my opinion, is of course the design. If you want a classier looking watch, you would probably want to go for the Fossil Gen 6. If you want something more sporty looking, you want to go with the Ticwatch Pro 3 Ultra. And then the major difference, in my opinion, this is going to be pretty much the biggest deciding factor. Battery life is night and day on these watches. Again, only 1 day on the Fossil Gen 6 and around 3 on the Mobvoi Ticwatch Pro 3 Ultra. That's why I tend to lean towards the Pro 3 Ultra. I tend to wear this more than the Fossil Gen 6. I usually like to wear the Fossil Gen 6 to like church or something, or if I'm dressing up a little bit. But yeah, overall, both of these watches are great, especially for the price of the Gen 6 right now. The Pro 3 Ultra isn't on sale much. Again, I'll leave a link for both of these products in the description. If you have any more questions about these two watches, feel free to leave them in the comments. They're both still on Wear OS 2. They both expect to get Wear OS 3 sometime in 2022. So yeah, thanks for watching this video.
Yeah, I just want you to be strong.